We've all been there. That moment when a plan you've poured your heart into, something you thought was a sure thing, just completely crumbles. A door slams shut right in your face. It's a feeling we all know, and today we're going to explore a really powerful way to look at it. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. That dream job you were so close to getting, that relationship you were convinced was the one, that big project you gave everything to. And when those things just end? Wow. It can leave you feeling so lost. Like maybe you did something wrong. And this quote from Ashia Jones just nails that feeling, doesn't it? It's about that struggle, that fight to control a story that just isn't going your way. It's like we're standing there, jiggling the handle on a locked door, absolutely convinced it should be open. So let's start right there, in that moment. When a door slams shut in your life, it's loud, it's sudden, and it can leave you standing in the dark, just wondering, what just happened, and where do I go from here? And that feeling that hits you right away, it's intense. It is so easy to take that closed door personally, to see it as a sign of your own failure. You're hit with this wave of doubt, anxiety, and this sinking feeling that you've hit a total dead end. But here's the thing. What if that's not the whole story? So this is where we kind of flip the script on this whole thing. Let's look at it from a completely different angle. What if that closed door isn't a rejection at all? What if it's actually a redirection? And what if that redirection is really for your own protection? This whole idea is often called divine redirection, and the core of it is pretty simple. These setbacks that feel so frustrating, they aren't just random. They're actually intentional, protective moves by a higher power, whether you call that God, the universe, whatever you believe, that's steering you away from a path that wasn't right for you. And this quote, wow, this one really reframes that big, painful no, doesn't it? It suggests that the closed door isn't keeping you from something good, it's actually shielding you from something that could have hurt you. That thing you wanted so badly, maybe it came with challenges you couldn't see, things that would have been too much, things that might have even broken you. So here it is. This is the mantra to hold on to. Just let it sink in for a second. Rejection is redirection, and that redirection is protection. It's such a simple shift, but it's so profound. It can change a moment of pain into a moment of trust. And look, this isn't just some nice sounding theory, right? People live this. This mindset shift happens in very real, life-changing ways. So let's take a look at a few stories from people who've actually walked this path. Take Emily, for example. She had this huge career setback, and her first instinct was to feel like a total failure. But instead, she chose to see it as a protective detour. Now, it didn't make the disappointment vanish, but it gave her a sense of peace and the patience to trust that something else was at play. And it's the exact same thing with heartbreak. Sophia went through a really tough breakup, and by looking at it through this lens, she realized that the end of that relationship was actually protecting her, steering her away from even more pain down the road. It even applies to our biggest ambitions. Michael had a business venture totally fail, and what could have felt like a crushing defeat, he reframed it. He saw it as a safeguard that protected him from challenges that might have completely overwhelmed him. This whole idea of protection, it isn't just about jobs or projects. It's incredibly powerful when it comes to our relationships, too. Sometimes that redirection shows up when a person walks out of our life. This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of it. When a relationship ends, it can feel like such a deep loss. But what if it's actually a divine act of clearing space for you? When the connections that are draining you or holding you back are removed, it makes room for new, healthier energy to flow in. And you can really see that shift right here. On the one hand, there's the fear of being disconnected, right? That loneliness, that guilt, that feeling of failure. But when we flip the script and see it as a blessing, look what happens. We find peace, we get clarity on what we really need, we grow, and we make space for new connections that are so much more aligned with who we are. Okay, so getting the concept is one thing. It makes sense. But actually living it out, in the moment when you're hurting and confused, that's the hard part, right? So how do we actually do that? How do we learn to trust this new path when we can't see where it's going? That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It takes real faith to keep walking when the fog is so thick you can't even see 2 feet in front of you. But the good news is there are some really practical things you can do. So here's how you start. First, you just have to let yourself feel what you're feeling. It's okay to be disappointed or angry. Then step 2, you've got to consciously change the story you're telling yourself. Use that mantra. This is redirection. Third, find an anchor. For you, that might be prayer, meditation, reading scripture, whatever it is that grounds you. And finally, number 4, embrace the pause. That waiting period, it's not wasted time. It's preparation time. You know, for a lot of people, a verse like this one from Proverbs is a huge anchor. It's a reminder to let go of our need to understand everything and just trust that a bigger plan is unfolding. It's basically the essence of letting go of that locked doorknob and trusting that the right path is being cleared for you. So let's bring this all home. The big idea here is that your setback, it isn't the end of your story. In fact, it might just be the setup for your greatest chapter yet.
Just let that sink in. These are some powerful truths. That uncomfortable feeling you get when you're being redirected, that's just what growth feels like. And the pain from a closed door, that can be the very place where a new kind of strength and power is born inside of you.
And so we end right where we started, with these wise words from Asia Jones. This is the long view, isn't it? It's that ultimate trust that one day you'll look back and see it all so clearly. How every single detour, every delay, every closed door, it was all a necessary part of the map that led you right where you were always meant to be.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought to carry with you. What if that thing that feels like your biggest disappointment right now, what if it's not a punishment? What if it's a preparation? What if it's the very thing that's making room for your greatest blessing to arrive?